Hey everyone, it's Sarah from the Art Studio. Today we'll be doing an oil pastel, so you'll need a piece of paper, you'll need your oil pastels, and then you'll also need a paper towel. So let's get started. So I went ahead and sketched out our picture on our piece of paper, just so you guys know what's on there. And let's get started. So we're going to start off by taking our yellow, and we're just going to make a circle in the upper half part of our picture, and then from there we're going to go and do orange across halfway. And we're going to bring that orange all the way up. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to blend. I'm also going to take some white. I'm going to go over that orange a little bit. Now I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to fill in between that orange. And now I'm going to go in a circular motion around my sun. And we're going to keep blending that yellow, going in a circular motion around our sun. Some more orange. Now we're going to go with red on the top corners. Now I'm going to add yellow all over that red. Now with some more orange. And now we're going to take our white and we're going to completely fill in our sun with our white. Now we're going to add some more detail with our white. So we're going to do these back and forth motions, going in a circular motion around our sun. So I'm just keeping the oil pastel going back and forth, but I'm still going around my sun. I'm going to rub my finger back and forth, going around the sun. We just really want to make sure we keep going in a circular motion around, because it'll make it look more lifelike. Now we're going to start fading these, still going around our sun, but now more outwards. Still going back and forth and still going around the sun, but not as much as before. And still doing the same thing with my finger when I'm blending it out. Now I got a little red on the inside of my sun, which is okay. I'm just gonna add a little bit more white. So this is what my sky looks like as of right now. I'm gonna keep blending. And now we're gonna add some red mountains. So I'm gonna do one over here on this side. I'm gonna fill it in. And do another one meeting it on this side. We're going to lightly bring that line together. That. And then we're going to blend it in with our finger. So now that that's all done, we're going to go forth and go and do the reflection from our sun onto our water, because we want to get all of our lights done before we move on to our dark colors. So I'm going to take this orange and I'm going to do a back and forth motion, going downwards and inwards towards the center of my page, and do the same thing on the other side in a back and forth motion, meeting together at one point, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to go forth and take my yellow. I'm going to peel back some of the wrapping on my oil pastel because I already used it enough. And I'm gonna go back and forth with this yellow. I'm gonna take my orange, and I'm gonna do the same thing, but not as much. I'm gonna pick spots to go back and forth with. Nothing has to be perfect. You can just pick and choose where you'd like to put these colors. It'll always end up working out. Once we blend it with our finger, it's all going to come together. From there, I'm going to take my white and I'm going to go over some of those colors and give the reflecting of the sun, that bright yellowish white down here. And we're also going to add some of this red too, but very lightly. And then we're also going to do some of this red on the outsides of this. And we're going to blend this together. Fill in a little bit in our sky, some yellow. And then from here, we are ready to move on to our water. So at this point, I don't want anything to touch our sky, so I'm going to lay my paper towel on top of that, and I'm going to grab my blue, and we're going to get started on this water. So I'm going to do mine upside down so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm going to start by taking this blue and again doing this back and forth motion. And we're going to lightly go over a little bit of this reddish orangish color on the outside of this reflection, but I don't want to fully go over it. Some parts we can go in a little bit more than others, but we want to keep it very little and very light. Now I'm going to take my white, but I have to peel back a little bit more on my white too. And we're going to go straight over this blue with that white and let it naturally blend on its own. I don't even have to use my finger right now, just putting the white on top of this blue. It's already blending into each other. Now don't use this white to go over the blue that's already on the orange. We're going to do that afterwards. If we do that right now, it's going to blend and it's going to make a brownish color that we don't want. So from here, I'm going to make sure my finger's really clean. So I'm going to wipe off all that orange. It's on my finger. And I'm going to start blending the outside of the water, not touching any of the orange parts. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my blue again, and I'm going to make some of these parts a little bit darker. Especially on the edges of the border of my paper, I'm going to make dark. And do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now I'm going to make sure another one of my fingers is clean. And now we're going to start to blend this section of our water. So I'm going to make sure one of my fingers is really clean so that we can start blending our orange and blue together. So I'm going to lightly start blending outward. And every time I start getting a little bit too much color on my finger, I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel. And I'm going to go again and blend. And then from there, we're going to take a piece of our white, but I'm going to make sure there's absolutely no color on it. So I'm going to try and wipe off some of that orange and blue. And I'm going to take this clean piece and I'm going to go over the part where these two colors meet. Wipe it again before I do it to the other side. Now you should have something that looks like this. And again, I'm going to blend with a clean finger, going back and forth. got a little blue in the center, which is okay. Blend that out. You want to make sure you keep cleaning your fingers in between blending so that you're not blending too much of this blue into your orange. And at this point, I am actually going to go a little bit more with my orange to make it pop out. A little bit more with my yellow. We can add a little bit of this yellow and orange reflecting into the other parts of our water. A little orange too. And then we're going to go ahead and make certain parts of our water a little bit darker with our blue now as well. So I'm going to go in and press really hard with this blue. See the difference that's making? So I can make really dark parts of my picture to make it look like really deep water. If that's what I want. Now I'm going to do a few little back and forth motions of blue. And do the same thing on the other side. So keep going back and forth with your blue. Remember just to keep pressing really hard so it makes it really dark, rich blue. And at this point, our picture should look a little something like this. So we're going to go ahead and keep going with our blending. So I think we're going to go forward and go with our black. So we're going to take our black oil pastel and we're going to do some shadows under these mountains. So basically going to make almost the whole mountain black, but not really. I'm going to blend it. So I just want to leave a little bit of that red showing. And then do the same thing with the other side. Blend that as well. So you really can still see all that red, but it looks like the whole thing's almost black. And then we're going to take that black and we're going to drag that down a little bit into our water. But really not going over that orange at all. Because that's the light from the sun, so there wouldn't be any black in it. So we're going to keep that just in the water for now. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring that shadow from the mountain down. But staying out of the orange. And blending that through. Now I'm going to try and make the base of the mountain really dark with that black though. So we can really tell that it's separate from that water. So we need a horizon line. You see what I'm talking about? See, we can tell the difference between the mountain and the water just between that black. So now we're going to take some of this black And we're gonna do some back and forth motions like choppy water, get those shadows into our blue. Some of my motions I'm doing long back and forth motions, and then I'm doing some short back and forth motions. But always back and forth. And now I'm going to do a few small ones in the yellow part. Just like that. And so now we're ready to do our sailboat. So I'm going to start off by doing the boat portion. I'm going to fill it in black. Just like that. And then I'm going to do one line, a straight line, going up. And I don't want it touching my sun. It's just under it, but not touching it. And then I'm going to have that come out a tiny bit. And swoop back down the other side. Somewhat like a triangle. And then we're also going to fill that in as well with our black. And then we're also going to add a shadow from our boat. I'm going to add a few more shadows under our mountains, some bigger ones. At this point, we've got the basics of our shadows. So I think we can go ahead and do a few birds. So I'm going to start off by making a point on my paper where I want my bird to be. So I did it right there. And that's going to be the center of my V. So I'm just going to make a V, go down a little bit, and then go back up. Just like that. Now I'm going to do a few more of those. I think that's the biggest one I'm going to do. I'm going to do a few smaller as well. So I'm going to do a dot, and then V again, and then I'm going to do one over here, kind of overlapping my sun. And then maybe I'll do one over here, down at the bottom. Maybe a few more here at the top. Maybe we'll do a few little shadowy clouds as well. So I'm going to do a little black. But I'm going to mostly fill in with my red. So I'm going to take that red and really fill those clouds in, going in circular motions. Maybe another one over here. And I'm gonna go in with some more black. I'm gonna really fill in the undersides of those clouds with this black. I'm going to take my finger and blend, again in a circular motion. I'm going to take a little bit more red and go over that black to even that out so it's not so harsh. Now we're going to take some white. I'm just going to lightly give some detail to these clouds. Now I think I'm going to go ahead, clean off my white oil pastel so it's clean. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little white highlight on my sailboat, just to give a little bit more definition. Maybe a little bit of a highlight on my mountains to give some detail. And here is our finished picture. It looks pretty nice. All the blending worked out really well, and it looks pretty good. I hope you guys had fun today, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye!